not going to walk around. I'm just going to say this was about you. We didn't get through to everybody that wanted to come here, I'm sure. I think it was a great healing thing, and if you're up for it, we'll do it again Saturday. We'll be here at noon. I'll rent the hall. We'll be here at noon. I see some nodding, so let's plan on doing that. As far as many of the questions and suggestions that were asked here, we have them on film. I will, as I do, try to be straightforward. I'm accused of being blunt. Try to get you answers. A couple things to start with. The evacuation, for as bad as it was, I mean, Corey Honey was a giant of a person. He had the world on his back. He had to call out. They called me right after he heard that the 30-foot of the dam was going to collapse. You know, there's 167 miles of shoreline. That's a lot of water. And when you talk 30 feet of water, that's what it would have been. Because they thought that whole emergency spillway was going to collapse. So was the evacuation perfect? No. Were there problems with it? Absolutely there are problems. The evacuation was based on a complete collapse of the dam map that was made years and years ago. There is now, right now, our sheriff that I know we all trust is working on different scenarios for evacuation, and I'm not privy to that because it's not complete. So the honest answer is we need to make the evacuations more applicable to the amount of water that's going to come, and the routes need to be more complete, and that's being worked on. And I trust our sheriff to do that. The second, you know, all the different ideas about food came up. People were calling me, they were running out of food. And there's two sides to that. One is if you're told to get ready to evacuate, you're supposed to try it, if you're capable, to have 3 days worth of food with you. And a lot of people didn't think it would be true. And the other side of that is we didn't have a plan to supply food to, as a gentleman pointed out, Bangor, or people went anywhere in the hills, you know, Forbes-town, wherever. I found out, you know, I found out the store. Well, they put up a flyer, called Bill Connelly, we're running out of food. I'm like, that's kind of above my pay grade, you know. Call the governor up and say, send the trucks? I don't know. You know, I don't want this to be about me. I want it to be about you healing. You know, I trained that guy well, didn't I?
Bill, where was our Red Cross?
Red Cross set up in Chico. I'm not going to talk about that. I grew up here, and a gentleman compared Oroville to a beautiful woman. And I guess where I get sideways with other people, and they maybe, and I love the congressman, he's doing a great deal. We've got to give him a hand before I make my statement. I've always had this innate, this feeling that we were shorted when they built the dam. But only when I became elected and really inherited the Book of Broken Promises from Bob Beeler, my predecessor, and really looked into what we get from the dam and the facilities around us, that I became, I'm the dog you beat with a stick until he got mean. You know, and you can talk about collaboration and healing and all of that, and we can do that. But we got to hold him accountable to make us whole. We got to hold him accountable to make us safe. And number one, to make us whole and safe, we need to have this facility brought into the 21st century. We need everything there to answer the gentleman's questions about the turbines. My inside information, we're lucky if we got 2 out of 6 running. The river valve has been broke a few years ago, and I don't know if they ever got it fixed. That just spills water out of the bottom of the lake. The emergency spillway was never designed to be used except in a catastrophic event, and that's where I went off the reservation and warned you to get ready. Catastrophic, meaning no control. God's in control, putting water into the lake, the levees are already breaking, that's when you use that. That was not a controlled spill. So I think that we need to operate the dam in the 21st century, keep the water down low enough that you can take on 170% of snowpack with warm rain, put our safety before water contractors or anybody else. That's the second thing. The third point that I've come to mind after thinking about this for a while is we should be made whole. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know, meaning when we had to evacuate and our jobs were at risk, our businesses were shut down. Our economy's been impacted in a negative manner. Our roads are being impacted in a very negative manner. We need to be made whole. And I've got to let, again, the congressman and the assemblyman and the state senator and our national senator who's here today, we need them to work with us to make sure that we're held whole, or I promise you, as one board member, I want to sue them. Because I think that impact needs to be, we may not win, but at least we tried. The fourth point is, this lake inundated 41,000 acres of Butte County property that is not taxable. A federal facility gets what's called...
I can't build wells either.
Payment in lieu of taxes. That's your business is hurting there. Bring that up, Mr. Munch. We get no payment in lieu of taxes. A federal facility like Reading does. We don't. We have an out-of-pocket cost of about $5.3 million a year for police, fire, search, rescue. We get a little houseboat revenue and all that, but we negative, as taxpayers, $5.3 a year. So the bare land value that they did is, they admit it's 1.2 to 6.9. Let's take the high side, so they owe us about $12 million a year. We get none of that.
How
So
about the small businesses?
it's always been a drain on us here. It's been a drain on us. With a small business, I covered that, impacted. And the last thing, I think that we've been promised a lot of recreation that's never been developed. And it's very amazing to me how they find a way to slip out of it. I mean, there was a protest up on the dam well before I was in office, and we got them to dedicate $20 million, and FERC said, we don't care where you get it, go get it. They went to water contractors, and they started bringing it. But only when we protested, they got up on the lake. So my last point is, where's all this recreation we were always promised? Where is it? Our free recreation went away. I went one day on my bike to go eat lunch with somebody on their houseboat. It was $8 to park my Harley. I mean, come on. That's enticing recreation. And I know you've all been impacted that way. So I have 5 points that I just covered. You asked what I don't have all your answers. I'm going to work on it. I will be here 12 o'clock on Saturday for people that want to come vent and heal, and I hope I don't do a big speech like this again. That should be your evening. Thank you. And the bar is open if you choose to drink. You're on your own. You want a soda, I'll buy you one. Thank you.